This video is sponsored by PokedownStore.com, the place for all your Pokemon TCG online needs. The new Sword and Shield online booster packs are also available, so definitely check them out, PokedownStore.com. Also, if you use the coupon code ZapDoseTCG, you get 5% off your next order. How amazing is that? Check it out. What's up YouTube, it's ZapDoseTCG here and welcome back to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. In this video we're gonna talk about my favorite deck in today's meta, and that's gonna be Baby Blacephalon. Baby Blacephalon gets quite the neat updates with, of course, the Sword and Shield meta. We get Lucky Egg, we get Quick Ball, and a lot of people are trying this out in a Jirachi build with things like Oricorio and yeah, maybe even Zacian to draw cards in the early phases of the game. This is going to be a greens build, so this is my greens build that did very well in the special event in Paris as well as the Bochum regionals. So a very great list, and we always try to update the list consistently. So this time around it's gonna be my take on greens Baby Blacephalon with Sword and Shield. So hopefully you guys are ready. If you enjoy the content, be sure to mash the like button at any point in the video because that always helps out the channel. Okay. First of all, we are going to talk about Baby Blacephalon. This is going to be the most consistent uptrader against like Tag Team GXs or Pokemon V Pokemon, because this can actually one-hit KO a lot of threats. So we can smack 50 damage for every energy we discard from our hand. So let's say we discard 5 energies, we smack 250 damage with the Fireball Circus. Blazer is also fun. Sometimes if we just get a beast energy on here, we can one-hit KO with Jirachi. And since Jirachi is almost in every single deck in today's meta with Sword and Shield, that's an automatic prize card thanks to just a simple beast energy. We actually scrapped Pheromosa from the list because we needed some more space to find actually the cards that we want, things like Lucky Egg, etc. But this is an uptrader. If you can get lots of energies in your hand thanks to the cards like Fiery Flint or Fire Crystal, you can one-hit KO any Pokemon in the game. There's also very nice things about the new meta that metal type Pokemon are becoming more popular. If they don't find their metal frying pan, we can hit for weakness, and that's gonna help out a lot. Not only that, things like Rillaboom are weak to fire, so fire types have it good nowadays. Even though the first turn supporter rule is very scary for this deck, we actually added a lot of cards to prevent ourselves from getting donked. So donking is kind of the thing that keeps people down from using greens exploration, but I do still think that the greens exploration list is the most consistent way to go with Baby Blacephalon. Otherwise you have a lot of like those 2 prizers on your bench. Think about things like Oricorio. You don't want the people using a great catcher for game. You never want that. So that's why I still decide to run the greens exploration variant. So 4 copies of our main attacker Baby Blacephalon, and we have 1 copy of Blacephalon GX. This is just the best card ever. Sometimes the opponent is doing some weird stuff. Well, the last prize card, we only need to find like a green to find ourselves Ultra Space and a Fire Crystal for game if we only need 1 more prize card. Sometimes we knock out a tag team, followed it up by a Zacian V for instance, and then we only need 1 prize card. The opponent might stamp us down to 1 card, and that's why Custom Catcher is a nice way to draw some cards. We have Poke Gear, we have Acrobike. The only thing we need in the late game to just take that last prize card is Burst GX. But Mind Blown can also come in handy from time to time, and Bursting Burn as well. Definitely in those games where the opponent is having an Obstagoon, the only way to consistently win that matchup is using Bursting Burn on an Obstagoon. Even though Obstagoon is still not a favorable matchup, this can help out. Also, you should be worried, if you're worried about Obstagoon, try and add in 1 copy of the Ultra Carton Void. That's a supporter that lets us go through any effect. That's also a way you can go about this. But Bursting Burn typically will get us, of course, the confusion on the Obstagoon, and that means they cannot attack sometimes. That means we retreat and smack it with Blacephalon. So we can actually take down 2 Obstagoons with this kind of strategy if all things go well. Next up is 1 copy of Victini Prism Star. This is fantastic, getting all our fire energies back in the deck so we last through the game. I know Energy Retrieval has been reprinted in the Sword and Shield meta. We're not gonna include that in this list because we need other things for consistency purposes. So Victini can also help to put the energies back, but also smacks a huge potential here. Our damage output, the maximum damage output we can do, because we run I think 15 fire energies in total. That means we can smack 260 in total. I know that does not one-hit KO with tag team, game, but it can actually take quite a punch on a lot of those threats. Think about Picaron, which is still coming back in the format. Think about Zacian, which is weak to fire, but doesn't require us to have lots of energies in the discard pile. So Victini, kind of a star. And now it's very interesting because we can easily find Victini Prism Star thanks to the Quick Ball that is added in this list. And since we run Pokegear and Green's Exploration, finding the green is easy, and then getting Quick Ball is yeah, very nice indeed. You can find that Victini. Typically you would want it on the bench on the turn before you want to attack. They could go after it with things like Pokemon Catcher or Custom Catcher, but yeah, they only get one prize card and then they leave Blacephalon alone, which is good. Okay, next up, the supporter lines. So we only run, as you can see here, 6 Pokemon in total. So sometimes you get those mulligans, but who cares, because this is an uptrade deck. One prizers are definitely taking the hit on like things like Vs. So we smack them down, get multiple prize cards. That's how we are. Okay, 4 copies of Welder. So this is the regional promo. Very nice to see Welder. I only have 2 at the moment, but I do love the regional promo. So 4 copies of Welder. This is gonna have the acceleration while also getting us 3 cards in the hand. So definitely broken in my opinion, because you can set up a Baby Blacephalon, draw into things like Fiery Flint, and as soon as you go like second, you can smack supporters down. Sometimes you can even dunk the opponent as well, because on the first turn they are not allowed to play supporters, and if they only have 1 threat and you possibly have like things like Fiery Flint and Welder in the hand, you can sometimes dunk, which is amazing. So not only in the new format are we scared of getting dunked, the opponent should also be scared, unless they run a lot of basics. So, and also I just want to give you guys the notification here is that if you're playing the Green's Exploration build like I am, you always have to go second. Why do you always want to go second? Otherwise, this deck does not run well. If you go first and you get like supporters, you cannot play them, and you only have 1 Pokemon, you get dunked. So that is something you don't want. Sometimes the opponent will decide that, yeah, we can go first. That's too bad, but we do have lots of ways to get another Pokemon out. Things like Ultra Space and of course the Quick Ball. So Green's Exploration can get us any 2 trainer cards. You can set yourself up with a Fiery Flint and a Welder, but mostly on the first turn of the game, you use it to find Ultra Space to just get another Pokemon out. Blacephalon does have 120 HP, but does get dunked by lots of threats. If I have to think at the top of my head, if we go first and we are not able to play a supporter, things like Gengar, Mimikyu is kind of a threat, because Mew Mew decks will use that GX move. That means that the following turn we can also not play down a supporter or any cards from our hand for that matter, and that's why we get dunked. Also, a Zapdos with 2 Electro Powers can one-shot us if we go first and they go second, and they get everything thanks to like a powerful Dedenne or whatever. You know how it goes, so you want to go second. Write that down somewhere so you know, never forget it. With Green's Baby Blacephalon, you want to go second. Okay. Now lots of 4-offs, you already got used to these cards. Fiery Flint is very fantastic. You can find ourselves 4 fire energies immediately from the deck. Very powerful, because that means if you have this in the opening hand together with Welder, donking is there, or getting the first KO as well. Don't forget, you always want to have a second Pokemon. So even though you have Welder and Fiery Flint on the first turn, try to get a green for an Ultra Space. The KOs will follow afterwards, don't worry about it at all. This late game card or mid game card, Fire Crystal. If you have fire energies in the discard pile, easy findable thanks to Fire Crystal. People also try and include like 1 or 2 copies of energy retrieval. By my means, I don't think it's necessary, because we get a prize card thanks to Burst GX. We get 2 huge KOs with Baby Blacephalon. That's how it typically goes, so it's just fine as it is. Next up, 4 copies of Acrobike. I almost cut 1 Acrobike for another Ultra Space because I'm afraid of getting dunked, but it is personal preference. Acrobike will of course find our supporters more quickly or dig deeper into our deck, so I'm still a fan of 4 copies. Same goes for the Pokegear. 4 copies of Pokegear will make sure we find Welder or Green's Exploration. We saw that Stefan Ivanov in the Bochum Regionals actually used Rosa. Rosa is also a nice way you can actually include. Maybe you cut 1 Acrobike for a Rosa. It all depends, but on the opening turn you don't want to see Rosa, so that's why I'm just going full consistency 4-4-4-4. Yeah. Moving forward, another 4-off, 4 copies of Custom Catcher. This is better than Great Catcher. I don't know if people convince you or not, but Custom Catcher gets you out a reset stamp. This is a fantastic card. And the reasoning for that is that, yeah, sometimes the opponent will stamp you or use Marnie. We can thin our hand by playing insta-playable cards, and then Custom Catcher is able to draw us cards. Also, with Green's Exploration, you can find the combo. Getting 2 Custom Catchers for game is something I've seen happening a lot in this deck. So 4 copies of Custom Catcher. I do think it is the better way to go. We also have Pokemon Catcher now reprinted, but Custom Catcher can get ourselves, of course, the draw power that we need in the late game. Okay. 2 copies of B-String. This is a fantastic card. If the opponent is at 4 3 prize cards, we can spam B-String, which means we don't always need to rely on Welder. And with B-Strings and Fire Crystals and Fiery Flint, we will definitely get the required energies that we need in order to just KO the opponent. Okay, now to the new cards. So these are all old cards, as you can see. We already got used to this kind of a setup. Now it's time for Lucky Egg. Lucky Egg is just what the deck needed. The deck struggled a lot with late game reset stamps. Now we have this card. If the opponent knocks us out and this tool card is equipped, we can draw cards until we have 7 in the hand. So if we have 2 Blacephalon out, they might gust around it or use things like Fion. It doesn't matter, that means they leave alone a Blacephalon with 3 energies. So Lucky Egg saves us in the late game. There's only 2 copies because we can find it with green. I would love a 3rd copy, but there's unfortunately no room in the deck. Next up, another one-up that I do adore, Reset Stamp. This is very powerful in the late game. You can stamp the opponent to a low hand size, and with green, easy searchable. So you can use it at the correct time and then overrun the opponent. So 1 copy of the Reset Stamp. Then 1 copy of Quick Ball. This is fantastic. Now we finally have an answer to just find our Blacephalon GX and Victini. We saw that Stefan Ivanov even played Cherish Ball in his list just to find Blacephalon GX because of course with Ultra Space we have to rely on that, and sometimes Chaotic Swell is in play. With Quick Ball we can easily find it and finish the game with Burst GX. So Quick Ball, fantastic in this list, not only early game but also late game. Late game for a Blacephalon GX or Victini, early game to find Blacephalon. Next up, 3 copies of Ultra Space, so we have 4 outs and then 4 basics, so we can definitely find them early game, so we hopefully will never get dunked. So 3 copies of the Ultra Space, lying this down right here. This is fantastic because yeah, you can search out your Blacephalons, and this is also a way to check your deck if certain puzzle pieces are prized during the game, things like B-String or maybe Lucky Eggs you want to find. Then 1 copy of the Heat Factory. This is great to draw ourselves 3 cards if we discard a Fire Energy. There's no downside of discarding Fire Energies. Either you power up Victini Prism Star or you can get them back with Fire Crystal, so that's fantastic. And then to finish the list, 1 Beast Energy. I'm actually gonna lay like right here. 1 Beast Energy, and then we're gonna lay down the 15 Fire Energies in the following way. So 5 stacks of 3 cards, so Fire Energies. I have lots of different ones. A lot of people say like you have to play all the same, but I do love playing with lots of different energy. I also sold a lot of them, so don't have too many left. And there's a lot of like regular energies, as you can see. So 15 energies is the way I play with a Baby Blacephalon. So we're just gonna lay them a little bit nicer because there's a kind of a mess right here. So we're gonna lay them in the stacks of 5. Maybe that's better. So here we have them, 15 energies. This is great for damage output. This is actually one of my favorite decks, if not my favorite deck from the new meta, because I'm so used to playing Baby Blacephalon. It's such a fantastic deck, uptrades very well. Station is weak to fire, you can even donk, so the only bad thing is that you always have to go second. I'm very scared of going first if I don't get a basic out. If I don't have Ultra Space or Quick Ball, I'm actually shaking in my boots. Sometimes the opponent can donk us, but other than that, it's one of the most powerful decks I've ever seen. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to demolish the like button and subscribe for more deck profile videos on the channel. In this particular deck, what do we have to learn? Ultra Space, always get that out as soon as possible so you don't get dunked, and Lucky Egg in the late game. Equip that to one of your Blacephalon after you use it, before you use an attack, and you should be fine in the late game. Anyhow, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks again for watching. Still a bit sick, so my voice is still a bit rough, but hopefully you guys stuck with me. If you enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace out.